Hello fellow leggers, thank you for joining us. We are north of London at one of our favourite venues, hit and miss.
Yeah, we often say that, no matter what we think of them. They're still one of our favourite venues.
We stay true to the Almeida Theatre regardless.
We do, and we're here tonight to see a stage adaptation of a Danish film, and that is The Hunt.
So stick around as usual to hear all of our thoughts.
Find out how many stars and whether it's break a leg
or leg it. The Hunt, you say, is it a Danish film?
Well, that's the thing when it comes to you is not only are we together independent theatre reviewers, so whatever we think we're going to tell you, whether it's good or bad, but one step further than that, I'm not allowed to speak to you before we see something.
I was wondering
about
where you're going with this.
Anything related to what we're about to see.
I don't
which
like
makes
to know,
conversation
leggers.
in the evenings very boring.
I mean, I don't want to have any expectations. That's my biggest downfall. As soon as there's an expectation, then my expectations are set. I just want to go in with a clear mind.
Yes, so this is coming to you as a brand new thing, right?
Right, so what do we leggers need to know?
It's based on the 2012 Danish thriller movie Jagten. Now, it's the story of a teacher in a small Danish town who becomes the target of mass hysteria after being accused of sexually abusing a child in his kindergarten class.
Interesting.
Right.
Sounds a bit heavy.
It does sound
Sounds
quite
deep,
doesn't it? Now, originally the screenplay was written by Thomas Vinterberg and Tobias Lindholm. It's been adapted for the stage by David Farr. Now, David Farr wrote The Night Manager for the BBC. And
he did pretty well with that.
And also Spooks.
But he also did very well with that.
He did indeed, and
Okay.
it's directed by the Almeida artistic director Rupert Goold,
Right.
whose previous credits include The Extraordinary Albion
It was extraordinary,
and
leggers.
The Diabolical Shipwreck.
It was... the
It
floor was good?
It was a great floor, but it was a sinking ship, wasn't
Okay.
it? Now, the power of Rupert and the Almeida combined have helped assemble a fantastic cast and creative for this one. Playing Rune is Adrian de Gregorian. He was in Made in Dagenham, which Rupert Goold also directed.
Did he?
He did.
That passed me by.
Ah,
I
and
mean, I
also-
loved it. I loved Made in Dagenham. I didn't know it was
great
him.
show.
Okay.
And also Roadshow at the Meniere.
Okay.
Tobias Menz is in the cast for this, whose theatre includes Uncle Vanya here at the Almeida, which I saw but you didn't.
Okay.
But he also has a huge amount of TV credits, including playing Prince Philip on The Crown, and also he was in The Night Manager too.
Was he also in Game of Thrones?
A British stage actor in Game of Thrones? Never! Yes, he was, for several seasons.
I
He made
recognise
it
him
through
from that.
to the end of that, right?
He did.
I mean, that's rare.
It is.
That is absolutely rare.
He survived.
Creative team includes Es Devlin as designer,
Fantastic designer.
and Neil Austin on lighting.
Just won the Olivier Award.
Do you know what? If Rupert calls you up, you don't turn him away, do you?
You don't.
So I'm really excited about this because it's something a bit new. I don't know the original film, and this is a new stage adaptation. It's around 2 hours and 10 minutes, including an interval.
Okay, so that's not too
pretty
bad.
zippy.
55 minutes per act.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be on the tube home well before 10, and that's what we like to see. So stick around
Yes.
to the interval because there is one to find out what we're thinking at that point.
And as usual, leggers, stick around to the end to hear our thoughts and find out how many stars. We've come to the interval, which means it's time for the breaker, leggers.
30-second interval breakdown.
Go.
What do you think so far?
It's a really haunting story that I think is really uncomfortable because it's so possible. It's being played with so underplayed. It's just in the narrative, really, and as such, it's disturbing and moves fast. How about you?
I think it's exposing of the fragility of a situation that anybody could find themselves in. It is sort of uncomfortable. You said you're getting through it quite fast. I'm finding it a bit slow at times, to
really?
be honest, but I'm interested to see where this goes. Well, we've been targeted
We've been targeted?
for The Hunt.
Oh, I see.
See what I mean?
I see what you did
And
there.
we came a lot. It wasn't very good, actually. It wasn't one of my
No.
best puns.
Okay.
I couldn't think of anything better, to be honest. But
Come
we-
the interval, you said that it was a bit laggy,
yeah,
a
like
bit slow.
for me,
It moved very fast for me, that first act.
Yeah, and for me, I had the opposite experience. I think
I had the opposite experience. I felt as if the second act was slow for me.
I thought the second act felt its length, but it didn't feel longer than its length.
Okay.
I'm still talking about the show here, just so we're clear.
Too many
Just so we're
cliches.
clear,
Moving along.
You mean innuendos?
That's the
what you're
one.
after,
Innuendos,
right?
yes. Okay, so. Oh gosh, how did we find this piece? We've got to break it down. I think on paper, it's a really interesting story. I do now remember seeing the film a long time ago.
Could have said that in the beginning.
I couldn't remember the detail, but once it got going, I was like, this is somewhere familiar.
Okay.
And do you know, I think that it hinges on the idea of doubt and nightmares. I think it's two areas of nightmare. One for a parent having a child who makes claims of inappropriate conduct or anything like that. That's a parent's worst nightmare, right?
Because you know your
on
children are vulnerable and people
you
out there.
You believe them.
The world is a big bad world, and
we're
you are
guarding
fearful
them against that all the time.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you've got this other side of an innocent party being accused. What must that feel like? And the way the story is told, it's absolutely clear that he is innocent. There is no doubt about that. There's no kind of isn't he? We know that he's innocent.
We see the scenario.
We see the situation unfold.
Although, to be honest with you, I was thinking at times it could have switched the other way, and we could be doing it as he had chosen to remember it. Do you know, like, we could have seen that. I thought maybe it would slip into the sort of fantasy realm, and are we actually just seeing what he wished would have happened, or that's the angle we are now that he's going to maintain happen.
Okay.
So I did wonder whether we would go down there, but we don't. We very
it's
much
very
go
verbatim.
down the we very
this is
much
it.
go down the line of he didn't do it. We've seen him not do it, but the hysteria that would build from a community that think that he might have done, and this vigilante justice.
It becomes a bit of a witch hunt about all of the community turning on him trying to maintain his innocence. Well, he maintains his innocence, but I think what gets me and where this piece falls apart for me is that he does it in such a passive way.
Yeah, he's never passionate about his innocence. He never protests it to the point.
Angry.
Do you know, if you were accused of doing something wrong to that level, you would be going, "What the hell is going on here? Are you all mad?" Like, literally. And he never gets there.
And there's something he says that he isn't. He's a private person, which I guess adds to the kind of mystique of his character, which then the community feed into to go, well, we knew he was on his own. He's always on his own, and so it feeds into it. But still, I just wanted more.
From the writing or from the performance?
Not from the performance.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I think it's more from the writing.
Okay.
I think if you push it with the performance, it may be going against the writing.
Do you remember? Because there are moments of tension.
It's just too much of a pacifist.
And it does beg the question of what would you do in that situation. And I did feel at times nervous or compelled. The person next to me at times was also emotional about it. Like, I could see them getting quite, it's uncomfortable is what it is.
Absolutely. It's almost like in Othello, and Othello confronts Desdemona.
Desdemona.
Desdemona. There's a song there,
when they confront Des Lynam and Des O'Connor.
Desdemona. And, members of the audience shout out and go, no, stop. I looked around and I could see people shaking their head when this little girl was kind of retelling this story that didn't happen, of like just going, oh, no, what are you doing?
You don't know what you're doing to that person's life. And the kids don't get consequences, do they?
No, and it's scary to think that could happen to anybody.
Absolutely.
And I think it's very relevant now in terms of this culture. I'm not just saying we're blaming, but we know that in any situation when it's one person's word against the other, what do you do in those circumstances?
All the time, and it plays out on reality TV. I'm thinking about Big Brother. Roxy Pallett and Bruno.
Absolutely. And thank goodness the cameras are there.
Yeah.
But what happens when that's
when
not?
The cameras
and so many
on.
people get caught in those scenarios. What happened when there's one person?
Which angle do you take? Who do you believe?
And what a horrific situation to be in for either party, whether innocent or guilty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there is suspense there. Okay.
It explores some really interesting themes, but not well.
So it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
But it
doesn't play out so well.
It doesn't play out so well. At times I was thinking, come on, move. There's drama here, but there's no drama. So in that regard, it also fell flat for me.
Yeah,
in terms of its text,
I would agree, but like I say, I had the opposite experience. Act 1 for me felt laggy, slow, complete drama. Act 2, and I think it was down to the production, just felt a little bit more like something was at stake, and which was echoed in the sound and the lighting, and it became a little bit more heart racing, but it was all to do with the production. And I think Rupert Goold shows us that he knows how to milk the most out of a text, because like you say, I think it's the text here that lets it down somewhat, but if anyone is going to wring that sort of wet sopping rag of a text out and get the most from it, it's going to be Rupert Goold, because he's assembled a crack team and given them very clear instruction about what he's aiming for, and at times I was thrilled by the production.
Yes, I think the star of the show in this is the production.
Yes.
I mean, the cast is solid,
Yeah.
but the production in terms of set, lighting, sound
Yeah.
are the things to come and see
Absolutely.
for this, for me.
I mean, Neil Austin, we know, is an absolute legend. He works here a lot. Albion, Ink, The Treatment. I love him. I think he's great.
He's great.
Olivier for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Coming Night of the Gardener. He's just brilliant. Also, I would say movement was actually quite compelling in this. The way that they moved around the stage, and there was elements of running scenes and sort of this. Do you know, thank God I don't live in Denmark, in that weird community where it's all about hunting and violence, and the men are proper machoistic.
Men culture, hey, let's go out for the weekend and shoot some deer.
Yeah, I feel really uncomfortable about that. If someone was singing a song with me, pressurising me into drinking a beer, I don't think I'd be like, wait lads, I'd be like, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this beer, there's too much pressure.
It's not the lad culture you're accustomed to.
No, I think that would make me really
being
uncomfortable.
in a steam room, slapping, stuff on your back and jumping into a cold ice pool.
Yeah, it's not me at all. Botis Sever did the movement.
Okay.
I would also mention S. Devlin's design.
S. Devlin's design, which is really simple, just kind of a couple of revolves, a square set, but then it's got this house with this glass.
Yeah, it's like an electroconductive glass, isn't it?
Almeida have used before. I'd almost say love using. We saw it in Aristea, we saw it in the Hamlet, where in the blink of an eye it can become transparent.
Transparent to opaque.
Transparent to opaque. So within this kind of wall, this kind of little house,
like a greenhouse on the stage.
1 second it was opaque, and then
It was
next moment it's transparent, but there are different people and different scenes going on inside. And then it would go opaque, and then almost really quickly, suddenly different actors were there, all through a trapdoor. Yeah. They must have been up and out of that trapdoor.
They're probably knackered, but it was used to good effect
really well.
in this. It did work well. Nothing we've not seen before, but worked well here.
Yeah, and very similar to S. Devlin, some of her previous works in terms of boxes and lighting, but it just works really well.
Absolutely.
She's very good at what she does.
But I've got to say, I was bowled over and breathtaken by Adam Cork's sound and composition.
The sound design was great.
It absolutely stood so far apart from the rest of from the piece at times, into just having, it felt like it had a life of its own.
It's the sound that I love.
Yeah.
It's that real deepy sound. It's almost like
deep sound,
that real deep bass that rumbles, almost like a cinematic experience. Like it's a film score accentuating certain moments, like that rings through, and it's so loud. I feel the whole place vibrating. And that's the sound.
He's got Tony's and Olivier's. He's doing so well. He did Ink here, Richard III. He did Red at the Wyndhams. Like, he's brilliant. And
all that stuff.
He's just a great sound designer. But just goes to show, people come for a cast, which we'll move on to in a second. They come for a piece that they know, but I don't think they always appreciate, or some people may not appreciate, great sound, adding an extra element. They might think it was the piece that was great, but this is a sort of example of great sound lifting a piece higher than it was, just holding a piece up.
And once you're aware of it, it really does stand out as being a real key element that drives the piece. Adds that tension.
Let's move
massively.
on to cast. So, I mean, good. I would say Tobias Menzies, for me, played it really, really well. It's just a bit of a damp squib of a person.
Like I say, it's a real pacifist part.
Yeah.
I'm almost frustrated in a way, because I love the Crucible, and in a way there's elements of the Crucible in the setup, that man being accused of something that he's innocent of, except in the Crucible, what's the character? Proctor.
John Proctor.
Was it John Proctor?
I've never seen the Crucible, I know enough about it.
He has that journey where he has the elements in the text towards the end where he's angry and he's screaming for the stakes are that high. In this, the stakes are high, but the character never elevates. And I say the character here because I'm thinking it's a directorial choice, or the way it's written, it's being this character. So as such, we kind of empathise and sympathise, but we never get the real drama. He never really gets to have that real punching moment of Key selling his acting skills. He just is.
He's like John Proctor with erectile dysfunction. Limp. Limp, right? Is that what we'd go for?
If that's what you want to go
Put
for,
that on the
that's
poster.
the quote for the poster.
Stick that on
then
the
that's
poster,
what it, so
guys.
he's a fine actor.
He's an absolutely
he's just
amazing
really
actor.
limited within what this character is,
Yes.
which is a shame. I'd like to see him do more
Um,
in another piece.
Yep.
I think.
Poppy Miller as the mother of the child that he's accused of harassing, assaulting, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Thought that she was great, and when she got angry, at least she got angry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, this is what I'm saying. The stakes are high.
Yeah.
In this kind of story, the drama should be up here,
Yeah.
and at times it just didn't get there.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the writing. Carry on.
And I'm not going to call everybody out because we'll be here all day.
There
but
were
also,
two specific that I would want to call out.
okay, who did you want to
The
call
children
out?
I thought were
oh
great.
my God, the children.
I don't know what you thought of the
Yeah,
children.
loved them. Especially
I
the
loved
boy,
children.
actually.
Both of them.
Yes.
The boy and the girl. In fact, the children never disappoint here at the Almeida.
No.
I don't know who they
Where they
use for
get
their
them from.
casting or where they get them
Yeah.
from, but they are usually young and they're freaking good. I
So-
don't know where they get them so strong at such a young age, because the material here is quite dense and quite heavy.
Yep.
It's almost on the nether kind of levels.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You
Thinking
wouldn't,
of
it's
those,
uncomfortable having children on stage about
talking
topics
about
like that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and yet they play it so well.
They
So
do.
much darkness behind the girls'
We had
eyes.
Harrison Houghton tonight, and I believe Abigail Mills were the two children.
The children were fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
and there was another cast member that I think you were a fan of,
Adrian?
the dog.
Oh, the dog.
Adrian was great as
Oh,
well,
I mean,
and we
he
got
can
to
sing.
sing. Yeah, we got to see him sing.
He's
which
known
is
for
great.
musical theatre. He's got a great voice.
So that's always
Adrian
joy.
Decagorian was nice to hear.
But well-behaved dog. There's always
The
that
dog-
moment where you're
Yeah.
kind of worried. You're thinking,
Never work with children or animals.
Are they gonna
The
do
dog
what they
walks
want them
on.
to do?
Although I saw that two actors took a tumble from the back of the stage tonight. Did you notice that?
I did. Well,
Two
you
of
were on the
them.
better side
I
to
was,
see that.
yeah.
And I heard some.
Yeah.
And did the dog
Two.
also take a
so
little?
one of the actors like almost landed on the dog. Like he went down the stairs whilst with the dog on the lead in front of him. That was about as dramatic as the whole thing got, wasn't it?
But I mean, it's still in previews, so
Yeah.
I guess they're still finding their way. In
Yeah, I think they
logistics.
can tighten up that a
the
little
space,
bit. But yeah,
but-
two people, Tobias and
Was it the young lad?
The young
the,
lad.
The
So
guy
they-
that plays his son.
So that's Stuart Campbell.
I thought he was good as well.
Okay,
I did
great.
like Stuart Campbell.
Yeah. So yeah, but the dog, I mean, there's a dog, guys. It's so well behaved. It's cute. We all love a dog. Let's wrap it up.
Well, I guess you're probably wondering how many stars we are going to give The Hunt, which is currently playing here at the Almeida Theatre in London.
We're going to give 3.
3 stars for this piece.
Surprisingly, the Almeida either go one end of the spectrum
Really,
or
really
the
good,
other.
or really bad.
It's quite nice to have something in the middle, you know, finally. It's not dreadful, but
No.
it's so much, it could have been, I just think the writing's not great, and it could have been a lot more
Yeah.
compelling.
I
You know,
want
the
that
Nether was
drama.
compelling and dramatic
Yes.
and gripping and tense, and people were like putting points of views across that challenged you. I don't feel as challenged by
I mean, I
this.
think there is a discussion to be had because it is that doubt and who do you believe and but it's very clear cut, and you can understand why the community would turn on this
Yeah.
person, but that's
You're
about
not
it.
gunning for anyone in particular, are
No,
you?
but there's no real heightened tension.
No.
There's no. It's suspenseful at times.
At times.
And there are slight
Momentarily.
crescendos at times.
Yeah.
But overall, I was left just thinking, and my mind was wandering. But production was great.
And the problem is, if it wasn't for the productions, I would probably say just watch the film in your knickers in front of Netflix.
Watch the film
Put
in your knickers.
in front of Netflix.
There we go.
But for the production values, it does
Production
add a whole
values,
extra element.
Absolutely worth seeing it for that. But hey,
That's just what I think.
and just what I think.
What do you think?
Let us know. Comment below.
We'd love to hear from you. Give us a subscribe and a like if you want to see more of us. We're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye!